Awakening is a word that has a lot of different meanings and different interpretations for different people and different traditions. I'm not going to go into the complexity of all of that here, but I do want to give a sense of how I orient to the word awakening and the related word non-duality, so that we can have a foundation to work with going into awakening together. So I think the simplest, the most direct way of saying it is that awakening refers to a recognition or a realization that what you are, at the core of your being, at the heart, essentially, is no different from, and is in fact inseparable from, what everything is. All of life, all of the universe. If you use the word God, or spirit, or whatever your sense of all of this is. And that is no different from what this is right here. This is everything, is what you are at your core, and is here. All of your life, all of your experiences, everything that has ever happened to you is woven out of this fabric that you can have a direct realization of. How that gets interpreted is often very different by different people. So, for example, some people will say, this gives you some kind of insight into the nature of ultimate reality. I think that those discussions, those disagreements, are fascinating. I think they're very interesting. And they're secondary, I think, to the sense that what we're talking about is a very real, very attainable, very human realization. I'm being careful not to use the word experience, because awakening is not an experience, which is a little bit of a rabbit hole I don't want to go into here, but and that this recognition, or any kind of recognition that you could point to with the word awakening, comes with a rather drastic reduction in our personal suffering. That, I think, is more important than the sort of theory or the metaphysics behind what it is that's actually happening. It's experienceable, it's real, it's attainable, and it's here already. It's the basis of all experiencing. So that's the basic orientation. Awakeness as a word, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it can be like waking up out of a dream, which is why awakening is used. Something that you thought was fundamentally real, baseline real, turns out not to be the case. And that's not maybe, it's not like a literal waking up out of a dream, whereas if you're in a dream, you might be in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, then you wake up and you're in your bed. If you have an awakening and you're in your kitchen, you're still going to be in your kitchen, but it's going to be a different you. Non-duality is a related word. I don't use them to be exactly the same thing, but they're very close, they're related. Non-duality just means not to. So what you are as an experiencer and the objects of your experience, the things that you see and feel and touch, those are not different from each other, and they're in fact inseparable from each other. There's a lot more in that, and there's a lot that's possible from essentially using relationship, using the presence of someone outside of you and yourself together in relationship to hack non-duality. I'm not happy that I just used that word, but essentially to use relationship to view, to point out what non-duality, what awakening is. And that's what we're going to be doing in Awakening Together, or one of the things that we'll be doing. And I'm going to go into that particular aspect a little bit more in a second video, but I just wanted to give a sort of baseline sense of how I orient to awakening, what awakening is, um, and uh, and what non-duality is. So if you have any questions, please do send them my way. You can write them either here, you can send me a message, anything like that is great. And I will respond to it either in writing, or I might make a video if it's a really great question. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, Awakening Together starts March 4th. Check out our page if you haven't to see a little bit of a description of it, and reach out if this resonates with you.